Chapter 6480. At this moment, the factory director was driving and humming a cheerful little song. Since the factory was sold, he has thoroughly felt the joy of retirement. He doesn't have to get up early every day, communicate with suppliers, or rack his brains to supervise employees to prevent them from being lazy and stealing. No wonder everyone likes to lie down. It turns out that lying down is more comfortable than standing when there is no shortage of food and drink. However, because he still had a lot of final payments to receive, he was also somewhat curious about the progress of the factory's upgrade and transformation. Moreover, when Duncan took over the food factory, he left him a bug, that is, once Duncan's capital chain had problems and he defaulted, he could get a deposit of $100,000 for nothing. Therefore, his mood at this time was very contradictory. On the one hand, he hoped that Duncan would quickly give him the final payment. On the other hand, he hoped that Duncan would default directly. However, these two contradictory moods were good for him, so no matter how the situation developed, he could get more benefits. The only worry was that things would not develop further. Because of this, he couldn't help but want to come and see the situation and see if the transformation and upgrading were going smoothly. Originally, he thought that the factory was now a scene of great enthusiasm. But he didn't expect that when he was about to arrive. He found that the entire factory gate was closed, and there was no car at the door. It seemed that it was directly closed. He parked the car at the gate, then got out of the car, stopped and pricked up his ears to listen for a while. But he didn't hear any movement inside. He was immediately delighted and thought to himself, could it be that the guy's funding chain is really broken? Otherwise, there is no reason why he hasn't started work in such a long time. Even if he has to wait for the equipment, he should at least dismantle the original equipment and renovate the civil engineering structure first, right? In doubt, he quickly approached the door and saw that the door was locked from the inside. So he lay outside the iron door and looked inside. At this time, a man came out and frowned and asked, "What are you doing here?" The boss hurriedly said, "I'm the boss here." "Oh no, I'm the previous boss. Your person in charge still owes me a lot of balance, so I came to see." The man said, "You want to see our person in charge, right? Wait a minute, I'll go call him." After that, he turned around and walked back. Soon, Duncan came out. Seeing the boss, he asked curiously through the iron gate, "Why are you here?" The boss smiled and said, "I just came out to do something and pass by here to see how the progress is. After all, this is the hard work of half my life." Then he asked Duncan, "By the way, why haven't you started work yet? I thought the upgrade and renovation had already started." Duncan pretended to be depressed and said, "Don't mention it. One of my partners has a problem and wants to quit. I'm doing his work these 2 days. By the way, I'm also contacting other people to see if I can get a new partner. But don't worry, anyway, our contract is for 2 months. I will definitely pay you the balance within 2 months. Yes, yes, yes," the boss said with a smile. "I'm not worried that you won't pay the final payment. I just want to see how this place will be renovated specifically." Duncan nodded, pretending to be unsure but pretending to be calm. "If everything goes well, in another 3 to 5 days, we can almost start construction. I have paid you all the flexible funds on hand. Now we just need the funds from our partners to start construction. And then I will gradually invest the funds from my other projects when they are settled. I think there should be no problem." After that, Duncan said, "But don't worry, haven't I already given you 200,000? If the funding problem can't be solved, 100,000 of the 200,000 will be your liquidated damages." The boss saw that Duncan seemed to have something to hide, and felt that this matter might not be as simple as Duncan said. And he felt a little excited. The factory was transferred in just a few days. He smiled and said, "You are so capable, there will be no problem. I am relieved." After that, he didn't want to stay here any longer, so he said to Duncan, I have something else to do, so I have to leave first. I just squeezed out time to come and see you today. If you need any help, you can call me and I will definitely help you if I can. Duncan nodded and said, okay, you just wait for my news about the money. Anyway, if I want to run away, still I can't. The factory hasn't been transferred yet. Even if I can't pay the balance, the factory is still yours. You can rest assured. When the boss heard this, he felt that Duncan seemed to have encountered great difficulties. He was overjoyed and said with a smile, I'm relieved, I'm definitely relieved. That's it for now. You stay busy, I'm leaving. Seeing the boss driving away, Charlie walked out of the factory. Charlie walked out and stood beside Duncan and said, Inspector Lee, this man seems very happy. Duncan nodded and said, he must think I'm in trouble. I just said that we should be able to start construction in 3 to 5 days. He will definitely remember it and come back to have a look in 3 to 5 days. If we can evacuate before then when he comes next time, this place will be deserted. By that time, I'm afraid he will be grinning from ear to ear. Charlie smiled and said, Inspector Lee's move is really a stroke of genius. We suddenly disappear, and he gets an extra $100,000. By then, he will definitely keep his mouth shut more than anyone else. Duncan smiled and said, Don't worry, Mr. Wade, he will keep this matter to himself and won't tell his father even if he comes. As soon as we leave, he will definitely arrange for the workers to resume work immediately. By then, there will be no worries.